Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following MLB matches that is happening on Wednesday, September 6, 2023. We will be providing our team, total and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comments section below. Los Angeles Dodgers vs Miami Marlins. Take Miami Marlins plus 1.5 runs. And here is why. The Miami Marlins have been a decent offensive team so far this season, as they are currently 19th in the sport with a .717 team ops while averaging 4.08 runs per game. They have been struggling inside of Lone Pop Park as they have a .270, .321, .405 team slash line while scoring 4.06 runs during their 69 home games thus far. Second baseman Luis Arias has been doing incredibly well as he has a .855 ops with 6 home runs, 61 RBIs, 61 runs scored and 2 steals while being caught. Edward Cabrera has been pitching extremely well throughout the season when diving into this baseball saving page, as he is in the 89th percentile in SBA, 87th percentile in whiff percentage, 79th percentile in strikeout percentage, and 73rd percentile in average exit velocity. He has 5 different pitches: changeup, fastball, curveball, sinker, slider, and his changeup has been his best pitch, as hitters have a .189 batting average and a .340 slugging percentage. Cabrera faced the Dodgers once last season and lost by throwing 5.2 innings and gave up 6 runs on 5 hits with a hit by pitch, 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. Go with the under here for our total pick. And here is why. Looking at the pitching staff throughout the previous 7 days, they are doing extremely well as the Dodgers are 7th with a 3.40 team ERA, while the Marlins are 3rd in baseball with a 2.62 team ERA. These offenses have been doing decently well as the Dodgers are averaging 5.57 runs in their last 14 games, while the Marlins are scoring 3.92 runs in their previous 12 games. Boston Red Sox vs Tampa Bay Rays. Take the Rays. And here is why. Tampa Bay stumbled over the holiday weekend, losing 3 of their last 4 games, including a 7-3 loss to the Red Sox at home. Their pitching staff has struggled recently, allowing 6 or more runs in each of their last 3 games. The offense has disappeared, scoring 3 runs or less in 4 of their previous 5 games. The losses dropped them to 3 games behind the Baltimore Orioles in the AL East, but they still hold a 6.5 lead atop the wild card standings. Glasnow has been effective at times in his previous 3 starts, generating a 1-2 record with a 3.79 ERA and whip under 1. He got saddled with a loss in his last game, which came against the Cleveland Guardians on the road. He went 7 innings and allowed 3 earned runs on 7 hits while striking out 6. Tampa Bay has dominated Boston this season, coming up on top in 7 of their 9 games played against them. They swept the Red Sox in a 4-game set at home in April. Boston hit a lean .178 with a .279 slugging percentage in that series. A trend may be forming, as Tampa Bay's pitching staff limited Boston's offense to a .198 batting average in their 10 games at Tropicana in 2022. The Rays have won their previous 3 series overall at Tropicana Field, including a 3-game sweep of the Colorado Rockies. They have a 66.2% winning percentage at home in 2023, and they have won 5 of their last 8 games at home. Paxton has struggled on the road this season, producing a 5.57 ERA and allowing just under 9 hits per 9 innings on average. He has a 0-2 record with a hefty 11.12 ERA over his last 3 games away from his home stadium. Glasnow has produced a ERA under 3 with a 0.86 whip and a 12-plus strikeouts per 9 innings average in his 8 starts at home in 2023. Boston's playoff chances are waning, as they are now 4.5 games out in the wild card race, and they have been mixing in young talent in their lineup in an effort to prepare for next year. Most signs point to Tampa Bay victory at home on Wednesday. Our total pick is take the over. And here is why. Tampa Bay has an elite offense in 2023, ranking high in several key categories. They are currently in the top 5 in the league in average runs per game and slugging percentage, so they are capable of scoring quickly in bunches. Adding to Boston's woes in this game, the Red Sox rank in bottom half of the league in team ERA on the road. Boston has a prolific offense this season, ranking in the top 10 in average runs scored per game and slugging percentage. They have pushed or gone over the run total in a whopping 17 of their previous 18 games overall. 3 of the 4 games played between these 2 teams in Florida earlier this season went over the run total, and the first game of the current series went over as well. Paxton has struggled on the road recently, producing an ERA over 11 with a 2.21 whip in his previous 3 starts, and he has given up over 15 hits per 9 innings on average. The Rays have gone over the run total in 8 of their last 10 games at home. The stats suggest the game on Wednesday will be a higher scoring affair. Seattle Mariners vs Cincinnati Reds. The Mariners have been more consistent and will send the more reliable pitcher to the mound. I like Seattle. And here is why. The Mariners uncharacteristically lost their second game in a row on Monday in a 6-3 decision in the series opener at Cincinnati. It marked the first time Seattle has lost back-to-back games since August 13-14, and it also let the Houston Astros catch them atop the AL West standings. Despite the loss, 21-year-old phenom Julio Rodriguez belted his 25th home run of the season, becoming the first player in MLB history to hit 25 home runs and steal 25 bases in each of his first 2 seasons. Mike Ford also went deep for Seattle on Monday, but starting pitcher Brian Wu, 2-4, gave up 5 earned runs in the first 2 innings, and the Mariners never caught up. Seattle is locked in a tight playoff race, tied with the Astros for first place in the division. The Texas Rangers are also lurking just 1 game back and are clinging to the 3rd wild card spot in the American League. The Mariners have been one of the best teams in baseball since the All-Star break, thanks to quality pitching and elite play by Rodriguez. Over the last month, he is batting over .420 with 7 home runs, 29 RBI and 11 RBI. For the season, Rodriguez now has 25 homers, 89 RBI, 84 runs scored and 36 steals, despite a slow start in 2023. Collectively, the Mariners average 4.8 runs per game and bat .244 as a team. They rank 10th in baseball in stolen bases, 106, 11th in home runs, 179, 13th in ops, .743. On the mound Wednesday, Logan Gilbert is slated to make his 27th start of the season for Seattle. Gilbert is 12-5 with a 3.66 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP to go along with 153 strikeouts in 155 innings. He hasn't lost since June 28 and threw 6.2 innings of 1-run baseball in a no decision against the Mets in his most recent outing last week. The 26-year-old right-handed is 31-16 with a 3.70 ERA in his 3 seasons in the major leagues. Seattle has been arguably the strongest team in baseball since the All-Star break, and Wednesday's starting pitcher Logan Gilbert has a lot to do with that. He's been exceptional on the road this season, posting an 8-1 record away from Seattle heading into this game in Cincinnati. The Reds, meanwhile, are technically still in the thick of the wild card race, but it feels like they've been hanging on by a thread. They had an underwhelming record in April and have battled COVID-19 over the past week, essentially scraping together a pitching staff of whomever has been healthy enough to take the mound. If it weren't for several miraculous 9th-inning comeback victories since the weekend began, Cincinnati's chances at a playoff spot might be toast. Other than those 9th innings, they haven't looked overly impressive recently. Our total pick is over 10.5 runs. And here is why. I like the over in this matchup because Cincinnati's pitching staff is pretty thin right now. The Reds deactivated 4 pitchers last week due to COVID-19 and also lost Graham Ashcraft to an injury. On top of that, the Reds played a doubleheader on Friday, which ate even more innings for a staff that is already stretched thin. Add it all up, and Cincinnati is left with either Lyon Richardson to make another start or perhaps a regular will return from illness after not having pitched in a week. Richardson's ERA is north of 7.00 at GABP, and the bullpen imploded on Sunday against Chicago before having to throw 7 innings on Monday in the series opener against Seattle. Perhaps the innings are catching up to them. The weather forecast is also calling for high humidity in Cincinnati this weekend, which usually means higher run totals at GABP.